Hi, it's me, David, and I'd like to welcome you back to Life with Parkinson's. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Today we're going to talk about driving. My driving history is quite extensive. On one of my first full-time jobs, I would commute from Squamish to Vancouver. It took about an hour and a half each way, so there was about 3 hours of driving. I did that for about a year. Then I got a job at the local pulp mill and ended up working in the shipping department and became a trainer for the lift trucks. So I would train the people how to drive them as well and recertify them every year. And I got certified on all sorts of different equipment. The biggest machine that I drove, I believe, was a 35,000-pound lift truck that could lift 8 tons of pulp at a time. Then when I worked at the garage door company, obviously it was a door-to-door service, so we would visit anywhere between, depending on the workload, 6 to 8 jobs per day, and that was all driving as well. That was mainly in the Sea to Sky corridor between Squamish, Whistler, and Pemberton. So every day was probably at least 2 hours of driving minimum. I also had the opportunity to teach my wife and children how to drive as well. One of the things that we would do when I was training them, if they made a mistake, I would say, 1, 2, 3, lawsuit. That was kind of a fun way to let them know that, hey, you're doing something that could damage your car or damage someone else's. What we're going to take out today is my Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid electric. There are a few reasons I got it. It can go anywhere from 30 to 50 kilometers on a full charge. Not a big battery, but in my mind, not a really big deal. A lot of the driving I do around here is well under the 50 kilometers. That's about 20 to 30 miles on a full charge. Have a look inside and then hop in. We'll go for a drive. Oh, maybe don't get in the back there. That's still full of stuff I forgot to take out. Could be gremlins in there. Okay, hop in the front seat. Oh, shoot. I'll take that out. Don't worry. I thought I got everything. So there were a couple features that I really liked about this vehicle, and I understand buying a Toyota Prius EV hybrid vehicle is not right for everybody, but for us, the amount of money that we save on gas actually more than makes up for the payment, and the amount of electricity that it costs to run this vehicle is incredibly low. And later on in the video, we'll talk about how I've come to deal with some of the issues with driving. So if you're struggling with driving, I'll talk a little bit about mentally how I've learned to deal with it, and also a few physical things. So the first safety feature that I really like is the cruise control. So it's like a traditional cruise control. You just set your vehicle, let's say, to 80 kilometers an hour, and then you travel at the 80 kilometers an hour. But the added feature is that there's sensors on the front of the vehicle, kind of like a radar. So if you're coming up on a vehicle going a little bit slower, it'll match you to that vehicle speed, and then it'll decelerate all the way down to 0, so that if you stop at a traffic light, it'll stop you at the traffic light. It's really weird and scary to use the first couple times, but it actually does work as well. And then when the traffic light goes green and the car in front of you speeds up, all you got to do is hit your gas pedal and away you go, and you'll travel at the correct speed up to 80 kilometers an hour until you hit the next traffic light. It's actually kind of amazing. Now, I don't really like to rely on it. I don't like pick up my newspaper or anything or watch a movie. So the second feature I really like is the steering wheel assist. So if I'm going around a corner, sometimes with Parkinson's, it feels like I've turned the steering wheel enough, but maybe I haven't. So the steering wheel all of a sudden jerk you to the correct position. It's actually kind of scary that first couple times. And then say you're going around the next corner and you're not turning the steering wheel far enough, the sensors on the car will pick up the paint on the yellow lines and correct you and get you over far enough. So for driving, it's really helped me that way. Again, I don't like to rely on it, but I do use it if I'm on the highway. And if I screw up enough times, the car kind of gets mad at me and tells me to pull over and take a break. It's really kind of amusing. Another feature I really like is the backup camera, because, looking over my shoulders, isn't that easy to do, and it's got a big wide lens, so it helps give a really good view of what I'm doing, but I don't rely on it fully. I still look in my rear view mirror and both my mirrors. I think it's just best to use the backup camera as a guide and not as a number one source. The next feature I really like is the heated steering wheel. I know that's not a safety feature, but in the winter it's been really nice. So some of the physical problems I've noticed with Parkinson's affecting me with driving. The first is the range of motion with my neck. I can't always look both ways fully, so I have to rely on my mirrors a little bit more, so I have a little bit of trouble with that shoulder check. Anxiety is a big one. If my anxiety is bad or my meds are going off, I get what I call dead leg syndrome, so I have trouble moving my right foot back and forth between the gas pedal and the brake. So yeah, if it gets really bad, I'll pull over or I'll call my wife just to chat, just until it goes away, or I'll get out and stretch and run around a little bit to get the blood pumping. What I want to mention with the anxiety is that it does play a big role in my driving. Like if I get too stressed out, I do have to pull over and calm down. A couple months ago, I had someone just tailgating me at a traffic light for, I have no idea why. I guess I wasn't turning quick enough, but I didn't feel safe turning, so I waited. And yeah, they just tailgated me and honked at me, so I just pulled over to the side of the road and they passed me, and that is the best way to deal with it. Just let them go and get on with their day. If you're finding this content helpful and useful, I just ask that you click the like button. This would be the best way to help other people find this video. Thank you. Okay, let's go for a little drive. So one of the funniest times I went driving was actually with my grandma when I was probably 7 or 8 years old. She had come down to pick me up to take me to a Soyuz, and she had this new orange Volvo that she was kind of still getting used to. Partway through Manning Park, there was the big giant sign where the police always used to park behind. Everybody knew they were there, but I guess Grandma forgot. So she got pulled over and was given a speeding ticket. That was back when it was just points, so it was no big deal. And I said to the officer, don't give my grandma a speeding ticket. She's just getting used to the car. But unfortunately, he gave her the speeding ticket anyhow. So one of the rules I have about driving is that I limit my driving when it's dark, because with Parkinson's, my doctor was telling me you get depth perception issues, and yeah, I've actually started to notice that quite a bit in the dark. So if I'm driving in the dark, my rule is to stay in the city where I live and stay in the surrounding area that I'm most familiar with. So like driving back and forth to the gym in the evening, yeah, that falls within my set of rules. I know this area pretty well, and the gym's only a few minutes away. One of my biggest adventures was when I was working for the garage door company. I got called up to Whistler in the middle of the night. It was probably like midnight or 1 in the morning. I can't remember. All I remember, it was really cold outside. It was like minus 15 or minus 20. And it was a snowstorm, and I had to drive up there for one of our regular customers. And boy, oh boy, I don't know if I could do that now. It snowed both ways in the dark. It was a long night, and I was really tired afterwards. But yeah, Parkinson's has really changed how driving happens. Another thing that my doctors talked to me about with driving is that our reaction times change as the disease progresses. That's something to be aware about as well. So to help deal with that, I really try to keep to the posted speed limit as much as possible and not go over it, because it feels like you're reacting to the situation properly. It all feels the same, but it's actually quite a bit different, I've found sometimes, because I'll be like, oh, I got to get out of the way of that pothole, but you'll still hit part of it even though you felt like you've steered the whole way. So it's really weird. Life is a highway, I'm gonna drive it all night long. If you're going my way, I'm gonna ride it all night long. What the heck is going on over here? This is another one of those videos I've really been avoiding making because talking about driving is really difficult because, you know, with Parkinson's, eventually I know I'm going to have to give it up, and it's probably going to be sooner than I would have given it up I'm just going to call it regular life, because Parkinson's life and regular life. So that's why I made the video that's going to come up here as a suggestion from YouTube is transitioning to disability. And I talk about how I know when to make those transitions. Like, I know when to move the goalpost back a little bit. And knowing that is a really difficult thing because you want to, you're always talking about wanting to carry on as if normal. But normal changes a little bit every day. Like, you're able to beat back the system, beat back your symptoms with supplements, beat back your symptoms with exercise or medication. But eventually, I've found over time, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but eventually those goalposts just move just a little bit no matter what you do. I really encourage you to leave a comment about your driving adventure. And I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more. I suggest you check my transitioning to disability video, and I'll see you over there when you're done with the driving video. Oh my God! On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. I fell into the burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames are higher. It burns, 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 the ring of fire.